Hello, everybody. So I'm going to do this series of anatomy tips, and I want to talk about a couple of tricks that I have that have helped me um, kind of figure out anatomy and figure out better ways to construct the body. So one of the biggest tips that I have for today is to think about the pelvis as an egg shape that's flattened at the bottom, and the pelvis as a square. Now, if you can figure out how to draw these things dynamically, stack them on top of one another, do them in 3D, you learn how to put the body together. So if you can figure out how, and it doesn't have to be perfect, how can I make this in a way that's dynamic on a 3D way? Or how can I draw this pelvis in a way that's three-dimensional? Right? Can I stack these things on top of one another? Can I do these shapes like this here? I'm gonna mess that up a little bit. Can I let's try to fix that real quick. Right? Can you rotate these? So I have a couple of models here. Imagine this egg shape and this square shape on top of one another, and imagine putting them in a balloon and twisting and turning. And that's really how how your body's gonna work. So right here, if you were to put the kind of egg shape right here and the square shape right here, then you encase it within a structure, and then you almost have a body, and you can attach legs and you can attach a head on top of it. So think about doing that. Now, these forms here are going to be the squishy forms. Imagine having Play-Doh or putty in here, and these are going to be the hard forms that don't change. So think about that. I mean, look, let's think about this sideways. If I draw the egg shape here and draw the cube here, then I can like put an arm right here, and I'll get into arms later, and I can put a leg right here, put a head, have the other arm come in, have the other leg down to here, and now we're looking like we have somebody who's moving, who's throwing, who's flying, whatever. But this is a good trick. This is a good way to think about stuff. If you were to kind of try to twist the body, you want to have, you see this here, how there is a C curve here and then a pinch right here. It's almost like the letter B. It's always a good idea to have a simple side and complex side to show movement, to show, squash and stretch, to show somebody leaning, somebody twisting. So if you were to have a body come this way and lean, and maybe have a foot come in here, another foot. See, what I'm doing here is still, I'm thinking about the egg shape, and I'm thinking about the box or the cube. It's a really neat, simple trick that you could utilize. I hope this is helpful. I'm gonna make another video about gesture drawing in general, and a couple of tips to think about limbs and anatomy. But think about this. I mean, think about this all. And so a good way to connect this is to practice this kind of S curve. So you got a body here, belly button. The rib cage is going to open like this. The pelvis you can fit in here, and then you get the legs come down here. So think about this when you're constructing any body, really, any pose. So let me give you a couple of more examples here. Think about the body. This is the body standing upright. We're looking at it from a This is the body kind of standing on top of us. This is the body when we're looking even higher at it, from a higher point of view, and you can see this coming down. What about if we're looking down at it? It's going to probably look something like this. And I'm exaggerating the size of the cube. The cube should be a lot smaller, but I'm exaggerating just for the sake of you looking at it. So in this example, you can put a head here. You can put the arms here. This is somebody celebrating. And the legs would be here. If somebody's hunched over, you need to know how to stack this on top. So this is the head. The egg shape would be here. Find the center line. Or we can twist this even better, see? So now we have somebody kind of hunched over. That's one hand, that's the other. And within here, see what I'm talking about? It's a very easy way to start off a gesture. You can worry about anatomy later. Figure out the simple forms. Like I can worry about the latissimus muscle here, the chest, the bicep coming in, shoulders, this muscle here, whatever it's called. You see, you can put that stuff on top. But that's not, if you're trying to draw from an imagination, if you're trying to build a body from the ground up, you can't think, you got to think broadly and kind of get more specific as you keep going. You can't start off with a lot of anatomy, at least in my opinion. You shouldn't. When you get good at this eventually, you can just relax into just doing the thing together like this. Like if I'm stuck and I'm not sure what to do, I usually break it down like this first, but now I'm kind of relaxed into just finding the center line, making sure there is a plane. So I usually put a side plane in so I can understand this has one dimension, second dimension. And I just build it up that way now. But you're not gonna, I'm still not gonna be able to do this all the time. No one really does. And sometimes I have to take pictures. You just pose for yourself and see what works and what doesn't. But this is a really, really, really effective way. So usually it's kind of you're gonna figure out the measurements too a little bit better once you start working at it. So here's a person kind of sitting down, and you can add a person sitting down next to them right here, and you can then just start building simple shapes like that. And this is easily movable, so it helps you with composition too, and I can make a video about that later as well. But yeah, think about these shapes as a good exercise. I usually take simple shapes like this, like a pyramid, a cylinder, maybe a ball, and a cube, and play with stacking them on top of each other. If you can play with these and put them in whatever perspective you want, you can pretty much do anything. So I usually do this exercise, and it's a lot of fun, where I grab the pyramid, put the cylinder on top of it, put the cube on top of the cylinder, put another pyramid there, curve up a cylinder that way, put a ball underneath here, kind of reverse a pyramid coming down here, and I just stack these things and play with them and put them in perspective. It's fun. You can fill up an entire page like that. but it also will help you think in more 3D terms, you know, of can you take a bunch of cubes and put them in perspective so that you can stack them on top of one another, right? Can you play with, see, I just messed that up right now, and, you know, put a vanishing line in. And play with this, have fun, and change shapes. Don't just do a cube, and it'll just help you think more in a 3D way and build a body up from the ground up. So I hope this was helpful. Let's call this anatomy tips number 1, and or number 2. We already did number 1. Whatever it is, who cares? We'll do more as we keep going. Okay, thank you.